Not the Chuddle.
Chuddle. Surprise.
I have a real soft spot for evil.
Blood flying everywhere.
Fuck good.
I'm a big boy who doesn't get scared.
Out of the mist and into the fog, it's Chuddle the Pod.
Sup, Chuddle Club members? Welcome to another episode of Chuddle the Pod, a horror movie club where horror movie lovers have a feel-good time. On this show, we dive into horror movies club style by asking and answering the same questions about a different movie every week. We keep it spoiler-free up top, let you know when the spoilers drop. And what are we chuddling this episode? We are chuddling Longlegs.
Look at them long legs.
Oh, yeah. And I am joined, of course, by my co-occupant, Chuddleman of the realm, Roos.
Oh, hey. Cuckoo.
And Rybran.
Hello.
Oh, okay. So we're going to talk about this movie that I'm sure you heard about this year if you're into horror, because people talk about it a lot. Before we continue, I must take this moment to thank our coven of patrons. Your sacrifice gives us life, and we thank your beautiful souls.
Thank you. Thank you for your life, mana, and also your monetary funds to help support this podcast. Thank you.
Patrons get all kinds of bonus episodes. Lately, we've been covering a lot of strange news articles, so check that out if you want to get weird. Across the globe.
Yeah. We also, a back catalog of, I think it's like 5 to 10 billion episodes at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's hard to keep track anymore, but somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So be a coven member, you get all that. Now we can go ahead and move on. So with all the club members accounted for and the coven avowed, it's time to crack open that goo book and officially begin tonight's meeting.
Give me that goo. Oh, yeah.
Splat.
Splat, splat.
Let's do some lines.
We only got a log line on this one. I haven't even read it. I got it from IMDb. No taglines, really, unless you count quotes saying, like, the scariest horror movie of the year.
Or what about, like, you got to decode the symbol and then it'll say something on the poster.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
You didn't get your
IMDb didn't have those.
Yeah, you didn't get your decoder ring in the mail, so you couldn't really see what the.
I went on a little decoding trail.
Did?
Yeah.
Did you really?
To see how stupid the coding is in this movie.
Me.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm excited now. Oh my God.
We'll get into it. We'll get in there. We'll get there.
Okay.
I had to do something to entertain myself. Sorry.
FBI agent Lee Harker is a gifted new recruit assigned to the unsolved case of an elusive serial killer. As the case takes complex turns, unearthing evidence of the occult, Harker discovers a personal connection to the merciless killer and must race against time to stop him before he claims the lives of another innocent family.
Thorough. Yeah.
Murky, I'd say. I mean, it gets a lot of things right, but also not exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it confuses it slightly.
Yeah. I feel like it's trying to buffer itself from said twist, but also trying to explain the whole movie, which I feel is kind of a conundrum.
Yeah. Way too much, probably. Okay. Well, that's it. That's the log line. Movies are made by people, and the people that made this movie are written and directed by Osgood Perkins, and it is starring Micah Monroe as Agent Lee Harker, Nicolas Cage as Longlegs, Blair Underwood as Agent Carter, Alicia Witt as Ruth Harker, and Michelle Choi Lee as Agent Browning. Again, other people in there. Those are your sort of main characters that we meet. Anything about any of these people? Micah Monroe, It Follows, Nicolas Cage, heard of him?
Oh, It Follows is fantastic. And she did great in that movie.
Cool. Well, moving on. Let's check our watches and look at the time.
It's time for the gore. Fatality.
Scale of 1 to 10, Psycho to the Sadness. How gory is this film?
It's, man, I don't know. This one for me laid like Consistency, I would give it. It's not like super low, but it's not like a massive amount either. So like I feel like it's
pretty low.
I maybe like a.
I'd give it like a 1.5.
Okay, I was gonna say maybe around like a 2 to a 2.5, but yeah, no.
You think half the movie has gore? A 2.5?
Oh yeah, no. Okay, fine. Yeah, probably closer to it too.
I feel like 1.5 is high, but yeah.
I was gonna say a 1.
Right.
Intensity, though. I mean, one scene in particular is certainly on the more intense side.
I added it at a 3.5.
Right.
Like I feel like there's that one intense scene, and then there's like aftermath, and then snippets
Little
of
bits, others. Yeah,
stuff.
3.5 is fine. I was gonna say 3.
I could agree with that. Yeah.
So
what? That gives us like a 4 to 4.5.
Yeah, which feels fine to me.
Mm-hmm.
Feels fine to me.
Oh God.
Oh,
Cool. Well, let's find out who might like this.
Who is the horror for?
yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby.
Starting with subgenres. What subgenres does this one fall into?
If you are into Nicolas Cage freak, this is a freak movie for you. Like if you're into Nicolas Cage films, particularly the niche crazy character ones that he does, this is right up your alley. Even if you aren't like, it's, I don't know. I feel like I
usually like them.
Yeah.
And I don't feel that way about this one.
Yeah. Ish. I mean, realistically, he's like in the movie for only about what? He's
barely
not in the movie.
Yeah. He's like a part of
15 minutes.
Maybe.
It's like Hannibal Lecter and Silence of the Lambs.
It's definitely like an occult. If you're into like, it's weird. True crime, obviously, because of how this thing kind of set up. If occult films,
supernatural
thriller.
Yeah, that's all pretty much nail it.
Would it be
true crime, occult, supernatural thriller?
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be a supernatural slasher because
like the X-Files.
Yeah.
You might
Not
like
a slasher.
Almost a borderline possession movie.
Well, certainly.
Yeah,
I
in a
mean,
way,
yeah. It definitely is happening.
What kind of environment is best to watch this?
Quiet and
vibey.
Vibey.
Vibey. Being a vibey environment, it's a vibey movie.
The vibe ass movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think with the aesthetic and stuff like that, kind of like low lights, not a lot of people, maybe some by yourself with someone else, maybe some of your other
Maybe with your mommy.
Oh, you're dirty.
Or just some film freak friends that you got coming over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Is it for beginners?
Yes.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like this has enough parts of different genres mashed together that it's, I don't want to say docile because that's not the right choice of words, but it's the first thing that pops in my head is that this is an easily digestible movie for a non-horror. You know what I mean? Like, because it's,
I think when anything's packaged in that true crime, it somehow maybe it
blends
makes it
the line,
something you're kind of
blurs them
used
together.
to and other.
yes, it adds a padding to
Yeah.
the insanity that kind of lies with this movie.
And should you know anything about this movie going into it? Nah.
Nah.
I mean,
Yeah, I say
I don't think it'd be spoiled for you if you knew. Certainly it could be spoiled if you knew too much, but if you knew the basic plot, I don't think that would be like, oh man, wish I didn't know going in.
yeah, for the most part. I feel that don't go in blind. Don't believe don't talk to people about it. Don't believe any hype. Go into it completely blind.
Don't believe the hype, that's for sure. All right. Fat, fappity fat. Who's that
Get out of here.
fapping?
Stop it. Don't fap at me. I
Fapping
yell
out my
at him
window.
now. I don't like him
Fap
anymore.
away, Jack. And don't you come back.
Oh,
You
it's the
can give me
Mothman
warnings.
Harbinger of Doom. He's here to tell us if there's any trigger warnings for this one.
I'm all fapping.
Mall fapping.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there fapping and like, oh, there's throw up.
Child death. Oh, vomiting.
There's throw up.
Childhood trouble.
Family death, child death. But what is it called?
Maggots.
Matricide.
Mhm.
If you have a problem with decomposition.
Decomposition is a good
Sure.
one. If you
but
don't like
I think
dolls,
those are some of the.
you got a phobia of dolls.
Yeah.
I mean, creepy dolls. So that's certainly a thing.
Yeah.
Like that's an aspect to it. Yeah, I think those hit the big things there.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Spoiler zone.
Heading on over to IMDb behind the scenes. I left a lot up top, only dropped a few in, took a ton out. A lot of them also were that I noticed were the X-ray facts from Amazon Prime. If you watch it on Prime, it's got like that X-ray thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are straight out of there. But
Right. Yeah. It uses IMDb trivia.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
That's
That's
funny.
what it's
I didn't
pulling
realize
from.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, terrible. Longlegs had a popular social media marketing campaign, which went viral and included billboards with nothing but the phone number, which led to a recorded message of the titular character saying, "I'll be waiting." If the number was called.
I did call this. I did call this number during the promotional thing.
Did you call before the release or after the release? Because it was two different things.
Before the release.
Ooh,
yeah, so you got the "I'll be waiting."
Mm-hmm.
After the release, it was him singing "Happy Birthday."
Oh my god.
Okay.
That makes sense.
I think it's still open. I'll call the number right now.
Oh no, it was one or the other. Afterwards, a series of short videos containing ciphers, a series of images on Instagram, a fake website for the in-movie murder case with photos and case details, and an ARG requiring fans to use the above to solve puzzles and codes to obtain other passwords to download stuff. This movie was huge on like all the bonus content to really like dig into it and expand the world.
Yeah, I think
bonus content / marketing, whatever you want to kind of call it.
They had a really successful marketing campaign.
My only point comparison to this viral marketing campaign is when The Dark Knight came out, I did play the augmented reality game for that movie. You remember that? Because we're
living together.
Yeah.
Or it was coming out.
We sent a pizza to my brother, and they were supposed to include a mask or something. He's like, "I just got a pizza."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
or whatever it was.
Yeah. I still actually have a whole box of all those mementos, and I got like a Joker card going to like the midnight showing for like a week before it came out and stuff like that. It was very cool. I like that they're still doing that for films in particular, like involving the audience before the film drops. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Can you put it on speaker?
Little angel. Longlegs is singing to me or some shit. I was calling to see if the number's still active on pod. It is.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. He's saying some nonsense and like breathing all funny.
Many of Longlegs' encrypted messages contain misspellings and poor grammar after being decoded. This is an homage to the Zodiac Killer, who was known for his coded messages, and often when they were decoded, they had a lot of mistakes and typos.
Sure.
Yeah.
During an interview, Osgood Perkins recalled a story from production where he learned Nicolas Cage has I'm just going to summarize this. Basically, the sound guy was like, "It's amazing. Nick, when he gets loud, he gets just below the decibel line where it would be like too much and it'd be a problem for the audio. And when he gets quiet, he gets just above to like where it's like just enough. I've never seen this before in my life.
It's perfect. He was able to sweat on cue."
Yeah.
I do like the
fact.
See, okay, out of most factoids, like the sweating thing, I think is kind of bullshit. But like it's not beyond the capabilities that I feel that Nicolas Cage with his tenure and his range could actually like,
and he's so into like movie making and everything.
Also has done so many freakouts in other previous movies that he probably had a trial and error with audio guys be like, "Hey, okay, you got to take that down like 2 notches."
Like I've been doing that since 2001.
You've been freaking since Freak a Leak or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
And he knows
Definitely
the perfect freak. He knows the perfect freak pitch.
Mm-hmm. Despite the praise and acclaim of his portrayal as Longlegs, Nicolas Cage has stated that this will be his first and only portrayal of a serial killer for a film. In an interview, he said, "I know the phone's going to be ringing off the hook to play serial killers after Longlegs, and that's not really what I like to do. I don't like violence. I don't want to play people who are hurting people." So he must have not seen a lot of his movies.
Movies.
Well, I think also calling
He was a particularly bad man in like Face Off. Like,
yeah.
He even when he's a good guy, he hurts
Consistently.
people a
Yeah.
lot.
I think this
Well,
one is
right,
like
right.
grimy enough. Like I get where he's coming from. Where like this is grimy enough, I guess, that like he may not. But also, I think calling him a serial killer is a kind of a fucking stretch.
It's inaccurate.
It's very inaccurate.
It's more of a Manson type thing, which they mention in the
Yeah.
movie. The request of Osgood Perkins of not using Nicolas Cage on the posters or in the trailer, despite him playing the title character, led to Neon coming up with a creative plan to promote the movie. So maybe that's why we got such a wacky campaign. The movie had a budget of less than $10 million and made that up on its opening day.
sure.
Osgood Perkins thought of only 2 actors to play Longlegs, Nicolas Cage or Brad Pitt.
A Brad Pitt Longlegs would be weird as hell. I might be for it, but like,
No thanks.
yeah, I don't know.
I'm glad he went with Nick Cage.
I can't. I can no longer do Brad Pitt. I can
I
still
don't like
enjoy
it.
films I liked before that
I'm
he
in the
was
same.
in, but
I wouldn't want to see it.
Yeah.
Nick Cage is more digestible, a lot more digestible.
yeah, I love Nick Cage. Even though I don't like him in this movie. Nicolas
Right.
Cage and Osgood Perkins made the movie as a tribute to their mothers. Just kind of weird.
To their mommy.
We haven't mentioned this yet, but Osgood Perkins is the son of Anthony Perkins, star of Psycho
Ooh.
and plenty of other things. But test audience praised Nick Cage's performance and mentioned that he was so off-putting it could potentially scare viewers off. This is the highest-grossing live-action Nicolas Cage movie since Ghost Rider's Spirit of Vengeance.
Ooh, Ross.
Ooh. My Biffle Ghosty?
Longlegs uses symbol substitution ciphers, number substitution ciphers, and a Vigneri cipher.
He does.
With the keywords Longlegs to decode the messages.
He sure is. This is
Brian was
the
in it.
FBI. No, I wasn't in it. I wanted to be like, can I solve this? Because if I can figure this out, the fucking FBI should have been able to real quick.
Yeah, but I mean, that's pushing it. Expecting the movie to come up with a actual thing that's undecipherable.
I'm assuming it has to be just like easy enough for the general public to decipher.
There's other cipher. There's other. There.
I guess.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying, though.
Yeah, they want people to
I
participate.
don't know, man. It. Yeah. Whatever.
So what were the decoded?
I don't have
do
any
you
problem
the
with
decoded
it.
messages?
Well, I do, especially because I've been doing this I've been creating ciphers and all this kind of shit for the ARG where that's still going on in the Discord that no one's been able to solve the next step. So I'm like,
so what you're saying is you're more long-leggy than Longlegs with the ciphers. Like you have better ciphers than Longlegs.
Well, I don't know if that makes me long leggier. I'm just saying
the FBI in the movie would have figured it out because they're not difficult.
Like, I don't think this cipher that he's using is probably any more difficult than like actual, probably encrypted, more harder to figure out.
Yes,
shit that the FBI or places or this whoever is decoding and stuff
has to deal with. Have decoders and encryptors and all these things.
I was just curious about it because I looked into it to be like just what level of it was. So I was like, yeah, it's weird too because like some of the things on the posters and the promotional material I saw, the symbols are direct letter representation. So if you figure out the symbol, you'll be like, this symbol means A.
Okay.
And it's directly to it. The letters and stuff in the movie are the fancy name to it, where you have to know the symbols and what letter they represent. You write that letter down, and then you use this method to convert that letter into the actual letter it is by using Longlegs as your kind of key.
Okay.
It's really, it's interesting. There's like literally a chart you can use that has like A through Z just like spanned out a bunch. So like Sorry, we're going. I fucking whatever. I looked into this. So
no, I like it. I'm for it.
Basically, like you would start with like if the first letter says you figure out the character says P, so then you would use L for Longlegs and look on the chart where L is, and you go across and find where P is, and then that matches up with another letter, and then that's how you spell out whatever it says.
Ooh.
So it's interesting. It's not terribly hard, but I just don't. The only thing I didn't know is that, and it does I think spell it out in the movie, is she's obviously able to decode it once I think she gets that birthday card because that has the key to the symbols.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I don't know, but there is a lot of stuff they have on that wall that I don't know if at any other point, Longlegs did any sort like, yeah, who knows?
I think the way I took it was he was like giving it to her.
Right. It was all about
Or
having her
key.
be able to decode it and I guess figure it out there. But
read the message about getting her mom's tits cut off.
But it doesn't seem like, based on what I looked at with these types of codes, it doesn't seem like they're not that hard to reverse engineer.
Yes. Okay.
Type of stuff. I don't know. That was just something that just because I was been fucking messing with them. Sorry for the rant.
No,
Really threw you off there, Sam. I'll be quiet
It's
for
okay.
15 minutes now.
Many rock bands are referenced in Longlegs notes, including lyrics from T-Rex and some other bands. The highest grossing independent horror film since Insidious Chapter 2 surpassed I, Tonya as the highest grossing neon film. Micah Monroe she really wanted the role, and Osgood Perkins didn't think she was good for it, so she taped herself after meeting with him and sent it to him and ended up getting the part.
Awesome.
When co-editor Greg, I'm not sure how to pronounce the just NG last name with nothing else, but first saw dailies of Nicolas Cage, he had no idea it was Nicolas Cage playing the role.
He's got a lot of makeup.
He sure does. We don't get our first proper glimpse of him till nearly an hour into the film. Nicolas Cage, that is. You can see the original Annabelle doll in flashbacks between young Lee and her mother. Nicolas Cage was thrilled at the chance to play a satanic serial killer, something he'd never done in his long career, yet we just read some other quote about how he didn't want to ever do something like this again.
There's a lot of sides to Nicolas Cage. He hated this.
This was interesting. Director Osgood Perkins, son of Anthony Perkins and model photographer Barry Brinson, he has cited that the film, which is mainly about mothers keeping secrets, was inspired by Berenson, who stuck with Anthony Perkins despite knowing that he was homosexual. So that's, I guess, how it's a tribute to his mom. Because when I heard it's a tribute to his mom, I was like, that's weird. Doesn't she kill her mom? Spoiler. I know where
Satan did it.
But yeah, the composer Zilgi is actually Osgood Perkins' brother, Elvis Perkins. And you know what? I kept some other stuff, but I'm over it. Well, here, we'll do one last one. It's sort of a bigger one. A shadowy horned goat-like creature representing Satan is present throughout the film a total of 10 times, particularly when Agent Harker is investigating satanic elements of the crimes. The creature's appearances are meant to be subliminal and not readily apparent. 1. When Harker is sitting on the floor reviewing the case files. 2. In the woods outside her cabin in the home. 3. In the kitchen when Harker is reading the card left for her by Longlegs. 4. In Longlegs' basement by the staircase. 5. In the window between two bookcases when she is investigating the library. 6. In the small window of the kitchen's rear entrance. 7. During Harker's childhood bedroom flashback in the doorway. 8. The window of the basement's foyer at Harker's mother's house. 9. In Lee's children's bedroom when the mother is revealing the story of the doll maker. And last, 10. The reflection of the front door of the Carter home as it's being closed at the end of the film.
That's a whole lot of Satan.
Oh, I guess I thought that was a cameraman.
The devil.
I was like, oh, cameraman's in that.
The devil in the details.
But yes, I noticed. I definitely noticed
everywhere.
a lot of those. But I'm like constantly searching the frame. It's just what I do. So it's just what I do, man.
It's I'm just, I
I'm
can't
a little
help
frame
it.
searching freak.
Mm-hmm. A little frame freak.
Frame freak.
All right, who picked it? History and why? This was
Patreon.
Patron.
Coven picked it.
Coven
made us do it.
Coven picked this one. We'd all already seen this. I think I saw it opening day, not knowing anything about it.
I was late to the game.
I believe I did too.
I saw this. I saw this as a home venture. This was when it first got to video or on demand. That's when I saw it.
Mm-hmm. And so I saw it and was like, did I like that? I mean, it was great, like vibes, and I had a good time. But the more I thought about it, the more I questioned everything, and then the more popular it got, and people talked about it. I was like, perfect, and it seemed like there was no flaws with the movie. I was like, really turned me on it and made me start to dislike it. So I was not looking forward to doing this.
Now, do you think it's just a byproduct of, like, if everyone had said, like, this is a decent film or this is a good movie,
it's good,
would you have probably stuck with, okay, I can agree with it, it's a good movie. But I think, do you think it's just like a action reaction thing where it's like, this is a flawless film?
Totally.
Where you're like, well, no, it's not.
Yeah, it's definitely that. I don't want to be that way. And I try not to be. Actually, coming back to it, I'm like, you know what, this is.
Oh, totally.
Good. Not great, but like, although it. Nicolas Cage bothers me more.
I have a similar.
The more I've watched it.
I have a similar thing. I think it's because of the delayed reaction, or delay in me watching it. Is that just by having clients come in, tattooing them and stuff like that, we would just naturally talk about the movies they'd been seeing, and like no less than 3 people that were like, dude, this is better than 7. Like, you're going to love this so much. Like, again, they're trying to articulate it, but then I feel like my hype train was so high on this than when actually watching it. Like, I totally agree with you, Sam. Like, it's a good movie, but it's also this weird, like, oh, this was astronomically too hyped for me. Like, this is, if I had gone in blind, I feel like I would have enjoyed this a lot, truer.
Yeah.
Certainly. Definitely. I mean, I think I was in the same boat as Sam. I saw it opening night or the night after. We saw it right around the same time because I came out of it the same way. I was misted by the vibes of the movie and thought, I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I think I was really, really digging that. And Sam planted this seed in my head. I was like, okay, yeah, it seems cool. And then you just said something. You're like, but was it? I was like, whoa.
Oh, man.
And then I sat there with it. And then, yeah, it kind of, unfortunately, if it wasn't like being hailed as the masterpiece, and we're going to say a lot of this kind of shit, not say shit on it or whatever, and I probably will at some points too. I know a lot of people do really, really like this movie, so my apologies for being an ass if I'm an ass or whatever, like it and stuff. And I can appreciate for why the people do like this movie. I mean, there's a lot of really neat elements to it, but like I said, there's things that just don't, like, once I peel back something there, once I look past what the vibes are doing, it doesn't do much for me for whatever reason. There's little things that just pick at me.
Totally.
I think in the same way they do for you, Sam, and stuff. And I guess we'll get into those little intricacies.
We sure will. Let's go ahead and start our movie discussion.
It's the movie time. We're doing movies and singing and talking over each other.
All right, we start with the T-Rex lyric on a red screen and black lyrics. Didn't write it down. Something about hide your teeth, sweet dirty girl. Yeah,
I'm sorry. This is. I feel like
I love it. I love it.
Sam, your delivery. It's like asking a distant uncle about a film. Like, yeah, no, there's a thing on the thing, and then like, there's some lyrics.
Yeah, it's fine. So we get a shot from inside a car slowly driving through snowy woods to a white farmhouse. The whitest farmhouse. And a young girl sees the car outside, goes to check it out. There's a black figure in the passenger seat. Suddenly, most of Nick Cage is on screen. but he's wearing his long legs today.
Oh,
so
he's 12 feet tall.
Ducks down, and as soon as he ducks down, opening credits. It's fun, vibey. Good song choice. I love the aesthetic with the red and the black.
The way this is shot, the atmosphere of like the 1990s is encapsulated like beautifully. Like you're saying, like the veneer of the vibes.
Well, this would be like the 1970s to 80s.
70s, presumably.
Okay, because I thought it was set in the 90s, and then it flashes back to the 70s.
It is. He just means what we've seen
flashback
so far.
right
Yeah. I just like the filter. I feel like it's just how this movie is just in general, like the vibe of this movie, where I feel like the satanic Barbara Walters filter throughout this entire film just has a vibe, and it's definitely vibing from the start.
Also, everything is like some sort of square aspect ratio to start, and during these credits, it slowly goes to letterbox.
It's like 4:3 or something, kind of. Yeah.
Part 1. His letters. Micah Monroe, who plays Agent Lee Harker, she's at a debriefing where the bunch of agents got to go door to door knocking, looking for some bad guy. So she gets partnered up with somebody. They go to check on a house. While her partner goes to the house, she gets a feeling that the baddie's in another house. So she goes there and gets her partner and is like, we need to call back up. He's in there, and she's like, oh, we're not calling back up for a hunch. I'll go do this. Knocks on the door, opens the door, gets his brains blown out.
Unexpected, and also like, oh shit, okay. I'm really like...
I kind of expected it. I don't remember on the initial... I was like, something's going to happen. Like,
it's hard to say now.
At this point, but...
I think my initial reaction when I first saw it was like, oh shit. But also, like, it started really springing the question of like the extent of her hunches and powers. Like, she has some level of clairvoyancy, but it's like, it's hinted at, but never directly... I don't know. I mean,
talked about a lot.
Well, it's
I feel like it is.
Well, not the extent of her powers, as in like
in the first part of the film.
Yeah,
I feel like she doesn't call upon
the devil.
The devil allows her to do this now.
Well, she said it's like people. It's like someone's showing me where something is, or whatever she says later in the movie. So essentially, it's like the devil being like guiding her towards it.
Chaos and destruction.
It's not her intuition. It's the devil being like,
right
over here.
Why?
I guess
indeed, that's one of my biggest problems with the whole fucking movie.
Because he wants her to move up in the FBI and like get to the why anything. I know it's like the devil wanted her that day, but he couldn't get her. Why?
But with and so. I'll get to it now. I would have liked it a lot more. So in the end, she shoots her mom in the head. And I would have liked it a lot more if when that happened, that was actually somehow all part of the devil's plan to get this girl. And that's why he picked her and was guiding her and stuff. But instead, he was just doing it to defeat himself. Ultimately.
Or it's like the devil's bounty hunter, where it's like you have these serial killers and things doing horrific shit, and then she puts them down. And then it's that weird, like, does the devil just want these people doing the devil's work just to die gruesomely so he can just collect in on them? Or like, I got very confused on the... Or maybe it's just chaos. Maybe it's just the devil. Maybe it's just devil chaos, where he's like, I'm just causing him a ruckus.
We'll probably get to those questions when we bring that up, because I mean, I have other questions about Longlegs himself. Why is he doing what he's doing?
I think actually he may have
contacted the devil.
He also possessed by the devil.
So the devil did Longlegs go to the devil, or did the devil go to Longlegs?
I'm not sure which came first, but I think he's kind of metal ball brained. Maybe the devil has a puppet of Longlegs.
Because like who's Longlegs' first child victim? Doesn't he go to her first?
He goes to...
Or has he killed before then?
He's killed before that,
okay.
I
A farmhouse. No, that wouldn't be right.
And then, so if he's killed before this, then he's been doing the whole routine by himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then at this point, when I guess he's approached with why does he accept this deal with the lady? Does the devil be like, oh?
I think he offers the same deal to everybody and nobody else has taken it.
Okay.
Is how it seemed like it might be.
Well, it's also like such a weird, I don't know, maybe because, like when most of the crazy satanic movies have like things happening at 3 a.m. because it's a mocking of the Holy Trinity, is that maybe like for the devil, having someone dressed as a nun doing this stuff is just that much more sadistic. So it's like points it in that, you know what I mean? I don't know. That's the only comparison I could possibly
Oh, sure.
make,
I mean, yeah, I could. Yeah, that's fine. Because I mean, Longlegs obviously had the church routine anyways before because when he comes up to her as a child,
yes,
he says the whole like I'm here from the church. Yeah.
I always pictured Longlegs as like a priest, as in like a satanic priest who like, you know what I mean? Where like if you're same like as a priest can commune with God, Longlegs as a satanic priest can commune with the devil, and the devil is guiding him to make the dolls and to kind of coerce and do things with people. You know what I mean? I don't think it's necessarily like a possession versus more of like a
well, the reason why I think the possession is because after he kills himself, the mom is like, he's finally free and you're free now too, or something, right before she shoots the doll's head, something like that. And so it was her comment about him dying, freeing him that made me think that.
Mysteries wrapped into enigmas.
Yeah. Don't care. So the guy gets his brains blown out and she's like, oh, fuck. And starts going through the house with her gun, looking for the guy. She finds him sitting on the bed with his arms up. Don't move.
Why?
I won't.
Why does the guy give up at this point? Why did he shoot someone in the head and just stop?
Why wasn't he waiting?
And wasn't the house covered in like
yes,
painter's tarp or something like that throughout the whole? So
it's like being remodeled.
Oh god, dude! Like,
was he possessed?
Well, no, I honestly thought like the way that like the partner gets shot in the head and then that trailing like hunting him through there. I legitimately thought with the amount of plastic everywhere, maybe it's just because it's like Dexter vibes. But I thought like you would stumble in on like his killing field, as in like she'd walk in and like see a grisly murder scene or something like that, and he's in the process of like cleaning up his mess, I guess. But no, he's just.
I just expected him
chillaxing.
to shoot back or
put
do
up
something.
A fight because he just shot some guy in the head, and there's
and
only one other person.
I mean, the previous meeting before, they're like, yeah, he's gonna fight. He will like shoot at you, and he just. I mean, I guess he does it to the one guy, and he's like,
and maybe it was got him. Maybe it's the
That's
devil.
All I needed.
Satan.
Watch out, man. The devil. I guess the devil didn't want her dead yet, so
right, exactly.
Like,
just made him sit there with his hands up. So now cut to her taking some sort of FBI psychic test. IMDb behind the scene. When the upside down triangle flashes on the screen, Lee's FBI association test, she labels it father. The triangle is a symbol she connects with Longlegs and Satan later on. Also suggests being unwittingly under the influence of Satan the entire time. Which of course she was. So many of the IMDb things were so dumb. It'd be like... obvious things that happen in the movie. Well,
it's also like, I guess I didn't quite realize not the gravity of it, but like the extent of like I just call it Satan fog, is that like she grew up in this house with her mother for, I'm assuming until she was 18, with Longlegs living in the basement for that long and just doesn't remember it, or B, like she had no fucking idea that was even like that. To me is like, well, Satan can show her things and hide things from her. Can you imagine growing up and having Longlegs in your house screaming T-Rex lyrics and you just don't notice it? Like he's invisible the entire time is hilarious. Like that concept is hilarious to me. Like bumps into her making morning coffee, just going, it's plain to see you are meant for me. I'm your toy, a 20th century boy. What is that? Devil's like, nothing. Ignore him. Ignore that.
This weird voice in my head that always tells me ignore that.
Go watch TV.
I want to kill you later.
Yeah.
What'd you say? No, nothing.
20 years from
I'm
now.
going to make you the best FBI agent ever.
Well, Longlegs does have a thing where he says like, and then when you became an FBI agent, we laughed about it.
Yeah, at 20, when you said you want to get into law enforcement, how we laughed about that.
Mm-hmm.
So now she's watching these pictures, responding to them. They also ask her like random numbers and she has to guess what they are. Also, a lot of those images and what she mostly the words she says do correspond to things throughout the movie. She says camera, table, door, mother, father, piano, a few other things. And those are all like, there's the camera family. She uses the Polaroid, obviously stuff with mother and father. And, there's more details on IMDb, but I don't care.
So the devil's telling her to say those things then.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Half the time.
Just half the time.
Because she got
it's
only
half
you got 8 of those numbers correct, but she missed the other 8.
That's
yeah.
okay.
So
Well, he didn't want to make her seem too powerful. So actually, Ross, you asked how powerful she was. About half psychic.
About half psychic. Yeah.
So she's in the car with these 2 new agents, Agent Carter and Agent Browning. Carter is sort of her main guy who she'll be working with, and Browning is his partner. They apparently brought her because they think she's psychic. They're showing her a house where family was murdered. Brian, were you going to say something?
no, I just feel like they call upon her psychic. They like her because she's psychic, and then later, when she kind of has hunches or like her any sort of psychic thing, they're like, "What the fuck? Stop! That's preposterous. You're not psychic. That doesn't exist.
Stop doing the thing we hired you to do."
So so they show her a house of a family that murder-suicided by the dad, but a note was left in a cryptic language signed by Longlegs. This is the 10th one in 30 years. So now she's in the office looking at one of those big connect the dot detective boards, and she's trying to figure it out. She's talking with Agent Carter. He's sort of giving her a history on all this. All the daughters' birthdays were on the 14th. It's all families. It's dad killing everyone himself, and Longlegs leaves these notes. So somehow he's
influencing
the behind
families
it, but he's not doing it and not present. So that's sort of the twist on the serial killer thing for this movie, which is interesting when you don't know the mystery.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, didn't quite pay off for me.
Was she not? Was the devil stopping her from being like, my birthday's on the 14th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Must be. I mean, she doesn't remember.
She doesn't really connect that dot until like even when he tells her, he's like, I dug into your file more. I saw you were born on the 14th. She's like, huh. And then why doesn't he have to be like the 14th? My daughter was born on the 14th. Like,
yeah, I would. Yeah, I guess it's like I'm not even gonna say like excuse it, but it's like I think because like separating yourself from the crime at hand, where it's that like, my birthday's on that, but I don't know if I would audibly say that when I'm focusing on like 30 years of murders, you know what I mean? Because it's not necessarily, at least at this point in the game, not directly about her. So she's like, she might think it's like, oh, what a weird coincidence, but also not like, oh my God, my birthday's on the 14th. I mean, later on, it should have been addressed.
If I'm hanging out with someone and they're like, over the past 30 years, people have been murdered on October 4th. I'd be like, whoa, that's my birthday. It would just come out of me. I feel like, I don't know. She is a little bit more reserved.
It could be any month. She is. That's what I was going to say. I think she's fantastic in this movie. I think she's really good at playing like that sort of like socially awkward introvert. She's got little, very subtle facial movements.
Yeah.
She's far better than Nicolas Cage in this movie, if you ask me.
Oh,
absolutely. Cage is just Cajun, so like,
he's just doing his thing. But
which
she
I'm
does
into.
A fucking phenomenal job in this movie. I really, really like her acting in this movie.
I like it.
So she's in the office. Carter gives her a file, tells her to stare at it till she can figure something out. So she's on the floor with the case file, trying to intuit the case. We hear a 911 call. Just sort of her thinking, mulling things over. That's when we see the devil goat for a second in the background.
No.
And now Agent Carter is like, hey, you fell asleep. There's such a thing as looking for too long. Come get a drink with me. I don't drink. No, you don't, but you'll come and talk to me while I drink.
Yeah.
They go to some sort of bar lounge and do just that. Parker gives Carter a ride home from there. I don't even remember what they're really talking there about it there. I didn't notate it. More about her intuition. Oh, this when we get the Manson thing. Could he have an accomplice? I don't know. Now she gives him a ride home. Like, come inside, meet my wife and kids. Do I have to? All this stuff in particular, I think she plays the socially awkwardness really well at that home. There's IMDb behind the scene. When Lee meets Ruby for the first time, she is wearing a shirt with the White House on the front. This alludes to a scene later in the film when Longlegs talks about the Camera family farmhouse being bright white, but Lee's house being the whitest he's ever seen. This also foreshadows Ruby being Longlegs' final victim. Which I suppose it does. As a savvy movie watcher, I don't even know if I'm that savvy, but having just learned about how these families kill themselves under the influence of Longlegs, and then we shortly go to meet this guy's family, I'm like, oh, well, this is the family that they're going to have to save. Like, it's just obvious.
So this family's the puppy.
Yeah. Parker goes in daughter's room, gets invited to the daughter's birthday. There's another signal that maybe that'll be coming into the picture later. Now Harker comes home, calls her mom, tells her mom she's been doing her prayers, but she gets off the phone with her mom because she gets a feeling she's not alone. Devil's tapping her on the shoulder. Sure enough, there's someone outside watching. Like a good girl, she comes running at the problem with a gun. Like it. Gets back inside, and there is a note on the desk for her saying, do not open until January 14th. Part 2. All of your things. She opens the letter right away. Yeah, go ahead.
Immediately. Now, okay, so it's the 14th, but it's in different months and stuff like that, or is it always on
different months? Yeah,
different months. Okay, so do you think it's just part of Longlegs' ritual, or do you think that there's something tied with the 14th?
It's so you can draw that triangle.
Yeah, I was going to say it's so if you fold a paper in a certain way, you can have an inverted triangle if you write it a certain way.
Right. I don't understand how that
she even
works.
Got there.
How you get to that.
Yeah. Well, because I was saying it's like, okay, so like the 14th is just a day where the Satan powers are at its peak. So like the trick works, I guess, better. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, because
could be a biblical thing. I bet there's more to it if you gotten deeper into all the extras.
Mm-hmm.
Very well could.
A lot of implied lore that exists outside that does exist for real outside the movie. Anyway, she opens it right away. It's a 9th birthday card from Longlegs. The ink is still fresh.
Oh.
The card even had
accidentally smudges the whole thing. Oh, fuck.
Just the codex part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
The card even has a handy codex to decipher his language, his little symbol language. But it had a really mean message about killing her mom inside it.
It sure did.
Now she gets called to a new Longlegs crime scene. When she gets there, she immediately deciphers a message, and Carter's like, how'd you do that?
You're right. It's like, could you explain that to the rest of the class, please?
Mm-hmm. This family has been dead for a month and also had a daughter with a birthday on the 14th. This is when we get the
The decomposition.
Yucky decomposition, yeah. There's right before it leaves this, we see a cat in a carrier hissing on a dresser.
Yeah, we do.
Do you think, I guess maybe the FBI could have put the cat in that carrier?
It had to have been. There's no way that cat was sitting in there for a
cat
month.
would be alive.
But also here's
a dead cat in a carrier.
But also here's the conundrum though, is if there was a cat, it would have eaten the faces of all of those people. If you got a cat alone without food for weeks in a house, it's gonna eat the owner.
I agree. That's how else would it have lived anyway? Where else is it getting food?
Right? No, it's nibbling on some family pate.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Family pate. It's like the Clown Cafe.
Oh.
Come on down to Family Pate.
At the Longlegs Cafe.
Where are we? She deciphers the message, cat on the dresser. She calls her mom again to tell her that she'll be too busy to see her. Mom asks if she'll see her on her birthday, tells her to keep saying her prayers so she stays protected from the devil. Now she's in the library figuring out stuff with paper and devil triangles. The murder dates make an inverted triangle. Somehow, we already touched on this.
Yeah.
She decoded the letters, and he keeps mentioning the Camera family farm. And the daughter survived that massacre. She wasn't there that day. This is what she goes to. She goes to Carter, tells him it's an algorithm, shows him the thing, and we get to that. So now they're going to go check out the farm and go visit the daughter. So they're at the farm to do some investigating. In the barn, they find a handmade doll the size of a child. It's like buried under some floorboards. Honestly, and a cross.
When they uncovered the doll, I legitimately thought, for whatever reason, I know that the daughter survived, but I was like, oh my God, is that the real daughter mummified or something like that? I thought
it was going to be a human. I didn't think it was going to be a doll. This is our first dolling, right? We haven't been exposed to dolls
yet. The dolls are creepy as shit. Like, they're life size and just
I don't find them that off-putting.
Yeah, I don't either. It just looks like a doll. I mean, kind of just.
I mean, maybe because it's out of the floorboards of a barn, you know.
Sure.
So they, I guess, sent the doll to like a corner or something. I don't know why this guy is, what all his doll work that he's doing. But he tells him everything it's made of. And what's really fascinating is this hollow metal ball that was inside the head. I've been calling it the brain. And he puts what's it called?
Thing or something.
Yeah, ultrasound to it, and it makes a noise. And he's like, I could have even sworn it was saying my ex-wife's name to me. But it couldn't have been that, right?
I do. Okay, so you start getting nods of, like, obviously, like, Satan power. I do like that these orbs or whatever that hold the satanic power is that, like, this guy's conducting experiments on it, and it's been inactive in a barn for God knows how long, and it's now whispering, going like, you should probably just like kill your ex-wife. Like, you should just do that. Like, I like the fact that it's almost like radioactive, as in, like, anybody that handles it or touches it, is around it, is getting those negative vibes.
Subject to its influence.
Yes. Yeah. I did really actually like that idea.
Now it flashes to Longlegs, sort of finishing making the doll, talking to it. Hello, Carrie-Anne. Or whatever. And he drops black sheet over it. Now they're going to see Carrie-Anne at the asylum. Longlegs drives to him, drives to a hobby shop, and is so weird with the teen girl working. This is when he claps his hands over his eyes. It's like, oh, aren't I weird? Does this freak you out? Am I freaky?
Yep.
And she goes, Dad, that gross guy is here again.
That's fun.
Which
it's
I like.
Yeah, it's just he plays almost like it's like an acid burnout. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's just like with the stark white hair and just like the erratic behavior and shit like that. it just seems like this guy has just been doing massive amounts of hallucinogens, and it's just he never came off the mountain. You know what I mean?
He
Like,
certainly seems stuck in like a glam rock era, but only from like lyrics and stuff, and I guess a little singing. Doesn't look like a glamour to me.
It's like he feels like the byproduct of the Satanic Panic. You know what I mean? Where it's like it's that weird like this is the devil's music, and there's this guy you're like, oh yeah, it is.
It really is. So now he drives home and Cage is out. So this is. Has that been there this whole time?
So hard.
I worked to get that done.
I laughed so hard when this was going on because it just happens. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think that's kind of the downside of having Nicolas Cage in a role like this is that like I default humorously to a lot of like, so it wasn't scary. Yeah. Like to me, it wasn't scary or like intrusive as I guess how they're trying to portray it, where it's just like, oh, this is just a classic Nicolas Cage freak out. Okay, this is what I'm watching. Awesome.
It's definitely the most Nick Cagey to me of all the parts of the movie. Like you really are like, oh yeah, that's Nick Cage.
Oh yeah, he's doing it. Yeah, I forget. So I know I tried to avoid anything with Nick Cage before I went into this movie, but I know I was sitting in for, I forget, I think it was there was a trailer for Longlegs on before a movie in the theater one time. So I did try to do
same.
Not pay attention or
once
whatever.
I realized it was Longlegs, I was like, oh no.
And I heard Nick Cage's voice in it. And even in that trailer, I fucking snickered. Whenever he talks, I'm just like, I hear Nick Cage and I hear Nick Cage putting on a voice, trying to be creepy or trying to do something or trying to do. It's Nick Cage trying to do. And I can't get past. That's a hard thing to get past.
For you.
Yeah.
I had the instinct to laugh, but I was in a pretty packed theater, so I did not laugh because I didn't want to like.
I guess this is the
other people in my theater definitely laughed. There was a mix.
There was a little bit of laughing, but not too much.
This almost gave me vibes of oh God, what's that actor's name? He was in Married with Children as Al Bundy. Anyways, he was in like A Few Good Men, or he was like a judge in like a very serious movie, and they did a screening for it, and everybody in the theater laughed.
You told me.
And they recast it and reshot it. And I like it almost gives it like not to that full extent, but it does give me those vibes where it's like, I know it's Nicolas Cage and it's Cage doing his thing. So like it's kind of just like okay, all right, and let's get back to the movie. Like,
so they get to the hospital. They have that fun little scene with the, I don't know, head doctor or something who's going to let him in, where they're like, they check this. So the girl's been catatonic for like 20 years. This survivor, Carrie Ann. And she just came out of it yesterday after being visited by somebody. Oh, let's see what the book is. Signed Lee Harker. Like, oh, that's not right. Do you check ID? It's like, we don't, but that's a good idea. We probably should, or something like that.
I think you would think so. That sounds like a really good idea, but no.
Yeah, exactly.
That was fun.
Very like early 90s, fun thing. Now Harker is interviewing Carrie Ann, which that's also the name of that doll from the flashback before. Carrie Ann, played by Kiernan Shipka. Her voice was pitched up in post-production to sound higher. That's a little IMDb behind the scene for.
Ooh.
Carrie Ann tries to recall what happened before she had her long dream. As she's doing that, we see like her mom stabbing the Carrie Ann doll, and she says her father was a good man, that's why he done it. And Carrie Ann says she was so happy the visitor came yesterday. She'd do anything he asked her to, including killing herself or killing Lee, whatever. Doesn't matter to her. She'd be happy to do it.
Can you imagine fucking Longlegs showing up to that asylum and doing his cuckoo routine? And so it'd be like, wait a second, you signed in? You're not here?
Imagine him being normal enough just to interact with people and get in. Yeah, that is tough. That's a tough one.
That's a hard sell. I feel like they would immediately just usher him in and just put him in a room.
Must have been some of those devil powers.
Satan powers.
And it helps when Satan, the devil, the big guy, the one with all the powers on your side.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
true.
And when he decides to use all his power, or I mean, I don't know.
Or however much he decides to use.
Or however much he has, however powerful he is at certain times. I mean, was it the 14th when he's the most powerful?
Right.
Maybe. Parker asks Carrie Ann if she remembers having a doll that looked just like her, and she says no, and you don't remember neither. So it's kind of the end of the scene. We got Harker chilling out in the bathroom. So it's kind of intense for her. Longlegs chilling out in his basement. Guess that's just what he does. Harker and Carter are now talking Longlegs. Harker says Carrie Ann got better when they found the doll. Some cultures use dolls to control people. Carter's like, come on, we're not gonna even entertain that idea.
we're not going there, are we?
Yeah. Carter says he took another look at her file, and her mom filed a police report on January 13th, 1977. Like 1977 must be when that takes place in the beginning. The day before her 9th birthday. So he's like, you need to go talk to your mom, ask her about this trespasser on that day for the police report. Harker goes to her mom, tells her she never said her prayers, and her mom laughs and laughs and laughs and says, you're right, prayers don't do anything. Now Harker starts,
I find it, okay, this is another aspect I really, really enjoy about the mom's character dynamic, is that she's like telling, because at first you think she's like a religious nut, being like, are you doing your prayers? Are you doing your thing? And then when you realize that like she's a cohort of Satan, and like she's desperately still trying to save her daughter, but absolutely knowing that it's completely futile. Like she's like, do it or not. I mean, like, I'm telling you to do it just to like try to protect yourself, but I already know that like it's a lost cause.
I'm the only thing protecting you from the devil.
Yeah.
Harker starts wandering around her house and gets snake called to a locked basement. She's going to find a key when she's called back by her mom. So I guess that was the devil being like, hey, that guy you're looking for that works for me, he's down here. Like,
check it out, but don't, or maybe that's just a byproduct. She got too close, and the devil can't control that aspect of like, oh my God, if this person I'm controlling gets too close to this person I'm working with, they're going to see snake visions.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Harker's in her room and kind of remembers a big doll box. She finds a Polaroid, and we flash back to the threat song. I know Ross really likes that part.
Oh God.
Where it's when she's meeting with Longlegs from the beginning. Mom comes out with a shotgun, and he does a little song about let me in now or let me in late. What is it, Ross?
Let me know, and it'll be nice. If I go away, I'm gonna come back anytime I like. That's not.
Something
it's the
like
gist
that.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not one time, but 2 times, but anytime I want to, and I'm just gonna cause your So just let me in now.
Now Harker finds Carter jogging and shows him the Polaroid and says, "This is a guy. This is Longlegs," and they're going to bring in her mom for questioning and start a manhunt to look for him. Is when we get that cool shot of a doll head on the table fading into Longlegs standing waiting for the bus. Fades in over his face. I like that shot. And then he gets arrested. Bunch of cops pull up on him and arrest him. Wasn't hard to find. A room of agents watch a video of Longlegs' interrogation. At one point, it appears that he looks directly at Agent Carter, Agent Browning, and Agent Parker. Longlegs keeps talking about Agent Harker while he's being interrogated, and then starts singing her happy birthday. and they pause it. Apparently, it goes on like that for 24 minutes. Thank God they paused it.
Mm-hmm.
Carter, Browning, and Harker talk. They know he wrote the notes. They're like, he definitely wrote the notes, but we can't connect him to the murders still. Harker says that Longlegs must have an accomplice that is still going to kill a family on the very day. She's like, yeah, we have him, but that's not enough. He had to have been working with someone. So, and that day is the 14th, I believe. They're like, oh my God, today's the 14th. And still, he's not like, it's my daughter's birthday.
It's my birthday.
Yeah.
Because the devil made him forget.
Flashback to the day he came to the Harkers. Longlegs says he's a friend of a friend. You can call him Mr. Downstairs. We get all that
down
shit.
The stairs.
Yeah. Parker, now she interrogates Longlegs, aka Dale Cobble. He's a real weirdo, if you ask me. IMDb behind the scene. Michael Monroe was kept completely in the dark over co-stars Nicolas Cage transformation into Longlegs and had not seen Cage in character until they shot the interrogation scene, which also happened to be Cage's final day on set. During filming, Monroe wore a microphone on her shirt for her dialogue, which was sensitive enough it captured her heartbeat as well. Monroe's initial resting heart rate was 76 beats per minute. When the scene ended, it had spiked to 170 beats per minute.
Damn.
The sound of her panicked heartbeat was then used in a final promotion trailer for the movie's release. In an interview with IndieWire, Monroe recalled, "It was insane. It was absolutely insane." She said, "As you know, he completely transformed. There's no trace of Nick in there. His voice, his mannerisms, he was very much method on this. So it was in character, and it was a very disturbing character, to say the least." Sounds like a real treat to work with.
Just a relaxed set, you know?
I think there's a lot of traces of Nick in there.
I unfortunately agree with that. I mean, we keep mentioning him, but I very clearly see Nick Cage. There's no...
This is when he talks about visiting all the houses and remembering when she decided to go in law enforcement, how they laughed about that. She asks him who the man downstairs is, and he says, "Ask your mommy." Then he might have said something else, and then he says, "Hail Satan," bang, 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 bashes his face and skull in. That's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. I really did like the extent in which I was like, why did they make his nose so big? And then I saw this scene. I was like, that's why they made his nose this big. So when he completely...
So he could smash it.
So he can completely fucking smash it, break it apart off of his face.
And so that could be like, that's not Nick Cage. Look at his nose.
Look at that nose.
Look, it's crazy.
No, but his face smash on this was awesome.
Obviously, it doesn't matter why we know, but why do you suppose his face is that? Do you think that's something he did to himself, or he was this character? I'm just curious because especially when you get that doll shot fade to him thing, maybe he's trying to make himself look like a doll.
I don't know if it's like,
why is he such a doll maker? Why is that a part of his personality? Like, I don't know, that maybe that's just some sort of correlation of
I feel like it's
to his character,
maybe part of the mystery. Because it's part of me feels like,
sure, it's, I know we're not supposed to know. I know it's supposed to just be like this mysterious aspect,
but part of me feels like it's like plastic surgery gone wrong. But then also he's like got these weird, maybe it's like albino vibes. Like he's not, like he's
just his face though. If you look at his neck and his hands, that makeup does not match. It's a lot more. It just looks like he has like cake makeup on his face almost.
He reminds me of those period pieces about like the French Revolution. Like it's like so much caked makeup powdered on his face.
But I don't know.
It does seem like plastic surgery gone wrong, but it wouldn't make sense for the time period or his character. I can't imagine when this guy Dale Cobble would have gotten plastic surgery.
Well, I thought of it as like a home done procedure.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Maybe he's just injecting mold into his face.
Could be.
Does anyone from T-Rex relatively look like that?
I do not know. Part 3, Birthday Girls. When Harker gets out of the interrogation room. Carter tells her that while she was in there, Carrie Ann killed herself, and that Longlegs must have told her to do it, and that was the final death that was needed.
Mm-hmm.
He worked alone. There's no voodoo magic.
Just to go back to the face smash scene, if they also didn't tell her that he was going to smash his face into the table.
Oh my God.
And he just started doing that. That would have been crazy.
That would have been fucking wild.
That would have been terrifying.
Agent Browning takes Harker to her mom's and waits outside. They still need to bring her in for questioning. This little IMDb behind the scene. When Lee enters her mother's house near the end of the film, all three hands on the clock over the archway have been set to 6. Another instance of the 666 theme that's recurred throughout the film.
Did the devil do that?
Devil.
It's like, look, why don't I just put my little favorite number up here? Yes. I love it. Look at that. Makes me feel good. Oh, fun shui for me, the devil.
You know, I love my image.
So while Harker looks around the house for her mom, a nun with a shotgun sneaks up on Agent Browning, points it at her head. Cut to Harker inside, hearing a gunshot. Looks out the window and sees her mom firing a second shot into the car. Comes outside to find her mom.
Why does her mom do this?
Pointing at a shotgun of a doll of her.
Is she possessed?
I don't know why.
Because they're getting too close.
I mean, Longlegs just killed himself.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I think part of it too, because like they talk about how I think Longlegs talks about like the whole spiel where she's like hogtied and he starts like talking to her about like it's going to corrode, like you're going to do some horrible shit and that's how you're going to save your daughter. But I also feel it's like the corrosion of her soul, as in like she initially signed up to do the devil's work to save her daughter. But then at a certain point, she's a puppet of Satan.
Maybe she knew that she was going to be brought in and she still has to go kill Carter's family.
That's true. And now at least with that.
On that day, she's on a time crunch.
I gotcha. Yeah. So she can't because she just needs to get to that next step. Okay, that makes sense, actually. I could see that in the scope of this world.
Mm-hmm.
Of her drive of why she's doing this.
Right. So her mom says with Cobble dead, he is free, and now Harker is too, and she shoots the doll in the head, and black smoky stuff flies out of the back of both the doll head and Harker's head. Harker passes out. We flash through memories.
What does this mean? Why what is it like Cobble's free? Is that right? He's free, or the devil's free from Cobble to...
She said, the mom said, when she tells her that Cobble's dead, she says, he's free now.
Right.
Does that mean the devil? Does that mean Cobble was under control?
Somehow...
The reason why I thought it could mean that Cobble was also somehow under control is because she tells her, you're free now too, and then frees her. What the devil was doing with her, she just let her live her life and occasionally pointed her in a certain direction.
Why does the mom free her from this if she's still so hell-bent
still has to deliver
fulfilling
I guess she still has to deliver the last one and then it's done.
But why do that?
Is it
for her daughter?
It seems like the mom was going to continue, or why?
At that point, I think
her daughter remember.
Yeah, I don't know,
to do all this when it seems like I don't know.
I think this one was going to be the last one because it would complete the triangle. Okay. So what that achieves, I don't know. But
a hellmouth,
or it's probably just the devil being like, "Look at that! I made an inverted triangle. That looks nice.
I did it.
I love that shape."
Yeah, I get it. Devil's gonna just do evil
make shapes
shit
that he likes.
Sure. Yeah.
Makes shapes.
He really loves that song by Alt J.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Triangles are his favorite shape.
Triangles are my favorite shape.
3 points where 2 lines meet. We flash through memories as her mom tells her she made a deal with Cobble that she would deliver the devil dolls to families if she spared Harker. So she did and pretended to be a nun, delivered the dolls, then hung out and watched the murders to be sure they were done just right. What would she do if they weren't being done just right? Also, the doll maker still made a devil doll of Lee, and that's why she's been guided to things. So if this was all to spare her, why did she even still have this doll?
Does he make the doll before?
Yeah, but
yeah, he makes the doll beforehand.
Now she's still devil penetrated somehow from its existence. Somehow these kids are also tied to the dolls. Aside from the dolls just being a delivery vehicle for this radioactive evil, they also
tie the kid to the doll somehow.
Yeah.
Once the orb is in your house, it just does its thing.
Yeah.
Which is attached to the child, make the dad go crazy.
Yep. Good stuff. Is why, again, watching it, I'm like, man, if this just like delivered on some different things, I can see why people like it so much. We'll get there on ratings.
Yeah. Do you think the orb affects the entire household or just one primary person in the house that commits the murder-suicides?
The entire household.
Because I guess the parents start bickering, but the kid doesn't. Like the kid is
right, except for the kid, I guess.
Well, once we get to our
but the kid that the doll is made of, because I don't know if there's ever any siblings or not.
Oh, true.
Or made for.
Beats me. I mean, once we get to, we're essentially there at the final.
She wakes up in Longlegs' bed.
Right? It's coming up because, like you said, we're getting all this flashback.
I guess because he's been living in her mom's basement. The phone is ringing and a voice tells her that a scary voice tells her that she's late for Carter's daughter's birthday party. Rushes to his house. Mom is already there. Her mom's already there with the doll, and they're already under the spell.
Yeah. So at this point, it does feel like the mom is under this like
some sort. Yes.
Daze, but she also like has these moments of like
seeming
I don't know
like
if it's her like
or normalcy,
seeming clarity, but also understanding like everything's fucked and I'm possessed right now or something like that. I don't know. And just she's knowing that she's going to accept her fate
into Satan at this point.
But I don't know. I guess we ever really saw that with any of the other spouses. But it certainly seemed like in that flashback scene, the priest, well, maybe because he's a priest, he couldn't be affected by the devil. Because there's a moment of the flashback where the priest comes in, who's clearly not misted because he's like, oh my God, he's startled by the guy that kills him with the axe. But then the mom does, I guess, seem like she's under the influence of
the devil.
The devil can't affect the priest.
So they're kind of bickering and they're like, what do you have, the knife to cut the cake? No, it's in the kitchen. Let's go to the kitchen. And I do love, she's like, we'll be right back. And Carter's like, no, I'll be right back. You'll still be in the kitchen. Which is amazing.
That was really good. So, because when he's talking now, he's saying it feels like he's possessed by the devil. It's like the devil's like, this is where the devil gets off in this situation.
And it almost seems like he also knows he's possessed and doesn't kind of want to be, but kind of is and wants to be. It's I feel like
right. I just feel like it's almost like an overwhelming, because you get an idea of like how it manipulates people through the pathologist, where he's talking about like the ex-wife and things like that, where I feel like it's like just a bombardment of intrusive thoughts that just override your logic. So like there's hints of him like not wanting to do it, but then being like, okay, well, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. And he does. Carter stabs his wife. Parker shoots him to protect the daughter, then shoots her mom to protect herself. She tries to shoot the devil doll with a bullet. Well, she tries to shoot the devil doll with the bullet end of her gun, but she's out of bullets.
The bullet end of her gun.
So before she shoots her mom, she says specifically, she calls her mom, and then her mom says, don't call me that. Which led me to believe then, was she possessed? Did the devil jump over into her body?
Totally seems like that in some type of thing, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think just being a part of the murder ritual is, I don't know, I guess erosion or corrosion would be the only, like, it's the first thing that pops in my head, where it's like she may have, like, the intent is to save my daughter beginning, but also 30 fucking years of doing this, or like when she's not, like, whatever that time frame is between now and then, which is like, it's not fully 30, but it's like, what, 20 something years?
I think maybe her door to being possessed is just kind of always open. So she is still being her mom the other times where we see her being a mom. Because you
can tell how it's like,
but here it was definitely taken over.
Yeah. Like what you see the flashbacks of her and like the cleanup and then all the other crazy shit that happens. And by the time she's at this part, she's so used to this that she's almost enjoying it. Or, well, is enjoying it.
She says they need to go.
Well, I don't think she is. I think if there's any moment of her enjoying it, I think she is possessed as the devil. I think she has accepted this as her life and is very... I don't think she has enjoyment in any of the killing. I mean, that's just my take from it.
So she can't shoot the doll. She tells Ruby they need to go, but stays. As she hears the doll, radioactive evil, start singing happy birthday to her in Longlegs' voice. And we go back to him, like, in the interrogation room, I guess. Hail Satan, kiss, T-Rex, backwards credits, Finn.
Ooh.
What? So I don't know. I think what has happened? What happens here? What is this ending? What is anything here?
It's almost like it's ambiguous. Is she under the influence of the doll now, and now something bad is going to happen with her and Ruby still?
No, she ran out of bullets.
Is the movie? Or are they going to leave? Can they walk away?
Yeah, it's so, man, I don't know. It's so weird because, like, I don't know if the effect is only affects the family of the doll, as in, like, if it's made for the girl.
Well, she clearly hears the doll singing happy birthday to her before they leave.
Does she? Is that what you think?
Yeah,
I didn't get that read.
I absolutely think that's what's happening. Yeah,
I just thought that was cutting in from us getting to watch Longlegs.
Oh, I thought it was her hearing it because that guy hears his ex-wife's name whispered to him from the doll brain. I don't think it has to be specifically tailored because we've at least had one instance before of that not being the case.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
Maybe that's not what's happening there, but that's what I thought.
Yeah, I think we all just got long-legged.
You mean dissatisfied? and I think actually the dissatisfaction speaks to the other strengths of the movie because I agree. You're like, I want to like it more than I do. But it fails for me.
I felt there was too much relying on the devil, just because the devil was so much other things layered on top of it with psychic for some reason at some point. Psychic because the devil's telling her. Possess dolls, but also silver balls and possession
that affect families, but the dolls also have to be specific to the daughter, and somehow that does something with the daughters that's different.
And then it's like you have all that, and then you just peel it back, and then the answer is the devil. That's why,
right?
And it's just devil. I feel like if you took the silver balls out and just made it like the dolls themselves, why don't the dolls themselves just be the possession vessel type of thing? Or
even just, if they were whatever this sort of radioactive evil idea we talked about, just like being around this thing makes you nuts, cursed object type of idea.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the silver ball layer was just another spooky thing, just weird thing to add that didn't really add much for me anyways. I feel like they could have simplified some of that, which would have made me, I don't know if it really would have done much.
And if the devil wants Longlegs to sacrifice, get all these families sacrificed to him, why is he also having Longlegs write notes to the FBI.
Yeah.
Or have an FBI agent that he's helping capture his main guy who is doing all the sacrificing. Again,
True.
that's why I would have liked it if somehow killing her mom was all part of Satan's plan to do something more. Like somehow that was the final death of the series, was her then killing her mom. Did something. I don't know what.
Sure.
I would have preferred that.
And then I get, yeah, I guess the silver bolt and the possession rules. I'm confused by. Does it start immediately when you open the door? Does it have to go into the house to work? Because I feel like this was my big thing. Like the our detective at the end. Why would he has been investigating this case that all centers around the 14th. They have learned that there are dolls that are involved in this aspect at this point. They fucking autopsied one. Like there's so many things here. So I mean, it has to start as soon as you open the door. He has to be possessed, right?
Yeah, or under the influence.
Yeah. I mean, he does get more and more stupid as the film goes on, I feel like. I don't know.
I do like that actor as well. I thought he was great.
No, again, well crafted.
Yeah, I know.
Great acting.
I just hadn't commented on
stuff.
And I like the two of them together. I think that's a good dynamic. All right. Well, I think that kind of was our final thoughts. So let's go ahead and ba-bum. And we're back. It is time for the crematorium of questions. So let's go ahead and get into them. How would we survive this one? So the Chuddle bus, we're camping overnight, and a guy shows up with a devil doll with or a nun of Ross, and it's got a little metal ball inside it.
Well, again, this goes back to, when does possession start?
When you open
the door, are you just immediately screwed?
By what I know in this, if someone shows up like that to us, one of us is killing everybody and then ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, they were just dead.
Great. Would you make the film gooier? Yeah, I don't think there's much in it at all. Give me more. More anytime there's death.
Give me more of the killings.
Yeah.
Give me flashbacks of like the murder suicides. You know what I mean? Like, and you can almost have them like flashbacky, like you get small blips of it, but like show me more of what's going on.
Maybe like tighten the time. Like I would rather see them going to more, I guess like crime scenes or something like that. And because it seems like based on the promotional material, there was a lot of like, I think I saw images or stuff or maybe even posters where it looked like there was a lot of cool imagery of certain, I don't know, murder scenes and kill sites and like all that kind of shit. Yeah, we
only really see it when she studies the file and we see like photos.
Yeah. I'm like, I want to see more of what the fuck Longlegs or whoever the devil did to these people and that investigation part to it.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. And then therefore you could have seen more goo.
I will say for the movie itself, it's kind of fine. For the tone of the movie, it works.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Villain level 1 through 10. Got to make Longlegs the villain, even though it's really, the devil.
The devil.
The movie's called Longlegs. Let's go with Nick Cage's Longlegs. So power level can make dolls that possess people. This power.
Well, it's like if you have the power of making it's a cool power, but also a terrible power because it's got to take a minute to actually handcraft that doll. So it's not like he's got a loaded gun of Satan. Like this feels like a musket fire like he's got to pack the wadding. He's got to set it up.
Well, and also once you make it, you can't control it. You're just like making a gun for Satan that you then pass off.
To be honest with you, like I think gun is a wrong analogy. It's almost like a Satan bomb, as in like he literally has a package, he delivers the package, and then whoever's in the house will get murder suicide. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Where it's like the girl that wasn't there that day by happenstance did not want. I mean, obviously it affected her later, but it's like, yeah, I don't know how I feel like his.
Well, and was she in a long dream because the doll was buried? Or, in that crate? Is that why? If the doll had been out, would she have been fine?
I don't know.
Where was Leesdahl this whole time?
Right. I feel that, I don't know. With all the confusing Satan powers that Longlegs has, it's obviously more than a mortal guy. You know what I mean? But it's not necessarily God tier power. So it's like I
feel like if you like
maybe a 2.5 to a 3. And like 3's being generous for power.
I'll go 2.5
because it's more than a person, obviously, but also it's like chaos.
I'm gonna go 2 just because I don't know if he's a conduit for the devil or if I don't know I just don't know, because I feel like he's the type of person you could like make a move at and he'd like start crying with how weird he is. Like I don't think if himself as a big threat, it's the doll that he makes. So it's not that powerful to me.
Iconography.
That's tough because it's still so new.
Yeah.
It's strong imagery and it's been very powerful in the time that it's been around.
Yeah, it's been well memed and all that.
I'm going to give it a 4. Like the way that he looks, the way that it's been portrayed, I think that like I'm not giving it the full 5, but like it's echoing really hard, and like this movie hasn't been out for that long, so I feel like I don't know. For me,
sure,
4.
Fine for me as well.
Yeah, I was probably going to say the same thing. Don't worry.
Should it have a sequel? What would your sequel be? No, it doesn't need a sequel.
No, I don't think it needs a sequel. It's so funny. I've been listening to our episodes and all of my shit is prequels, but for this one I feel is like more justified because obviously like Longlegs is dead by the end of it. Is that I would love to have a different investigator because it's a 30-year-old cold case. So like other people had to have been investigating this.
Right.
So like I feel like there could be a different chapter of a different detective or something figuring this out, but finding astronomically more information about what's going on, but then want to, obviously
getting
like
double-dolled.
Getting double-dolled. You know what I mean? Where like at least it'll give us a little more behind the curtain of why this is going on, but it wouldn't interrupt the actual timeline or structure of this Longlegs.
Sure. All that implied stuff.
So I'll take a direct sequel. Picks up right when this movie ends. But a hell portal opens up. Ooh. And hell version of Lee comes out. She's like, "You got to come with me to hell. We're taking out Satan."
Ooh.
I'm in.
And throws her like some weird like hell gun. And the kid's there too, and comes along and they go on and battle through hell. Then there's like adventure. Longlegs returns as hell legs.
And it is like Satan's right-hand man.
And then at some point, no, it's like, how do we get Lee and Longlegs have to team up for a moment to do something?
Oh, sure, yeah. In the end, she convinces him, like, look how bad the devil treats you. And so Longlegs turns on the devil at the end.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you, Sam. We got there. Cool. Longlegs 2, full throttle.
Would you buy the soundtrack or score on vinyl?
If it's just Nicolas Cage covering everything.
Soundtrack, yes. Score, no. Soundtrack's just like T-Rex and it's glam rock stuff, which I like.
I'd just go buy their albums.
I don't know that I would buy it, I guess, but
I wouldn't.
I want to be against it.
Listen, I understand.
Is anything action figure worthy?
Longlegs, sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
Longlegs for sure.
A shadow devil.
I wouldn't want it, but yeah.
I wouldn't. Yeah, no, but that is certainly, as we talked about,
make a T-shirt out of that
iconography and stuff.
Even like mom in the nun outfit with the doll would be a real weird action figure.
I want the nun station wagon shotgun playset.
Yes,
it's just her at the window, and you see the blood splatter.
Done.
What merch prop promo item would you want from the film?
I mean, one of the letters.
letter,
If I was going to take anything,
Yeah.
one of the letters or something
I think
like that for sure.
One of the letters would be super cool.
One of Nick Cage's prosthetics.
Head ball.
Of course.
See,
yeah, definitely.
I honestly thought about headball, but it's so fucking close to Phantasm. I would actually be aggravated in explaining what it was every time someone pointed to it. So I feel like I would default to like the letter. Honestly, the gore prosthetics for the face smash would be awesome as well.
We'll take some of that goo. Remember, I think we mentioned this before. If you have any goo hookups from movies, we'll take goo.
Please let us. Yeah. We take any goo donations is fine.
What are we throwing at the midnight showing? Letters? Spiders?
Spiders.
Some daddy long legs.
Dolls?
Oh, a bunch of spiders.
Doll
Balls.
parts. Yeah, just doll
silver balls.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, the entire screen just looks like Swiss cheese afterwards.
And popcorn bucket for this one. It could just be Nick Cage's head.
It would be Nick Cage's head post bashing it.
Oh, okay.
So that's where you need an opening to like try to get the popcorn, or at least like a drink straw through the nose.
It would just, be through the top of the head. But yeah, you could do it that way too. Then it'd have to be like sideways to use it.
I'd do like a real cartoonish devil, just devil head.
Yes.
It's like the red devil with a goatee. And like super cartoonish to be like, what? And it just says, long legs. You're like, I don't, okay, and then you see it.
Mm-hmm.
When you see it, you see it.
All right, let's check out how many fingers we're doing.
I only want your fingers.
Should we all cut our fingers open and bleed on it?
Can you wrap your fingers around this?
I'll take a Voorhees burger and a side of Jason's fingers.
Show them.
All right, time to do our ratings. We rate movies on a scale of 0 to 5 fingers. Each finger represents a different quality about a movie. You can chop off quarter finger, whole finger, half finger, no finger. These ratings are a reflection of how we feel about the movie. Doesn't matter if the movie's good or bad. Having said all that, let's go ahead and get into it. And I want to start tonight's proceedings with Rooski Pooski. The tongue god.
The tongue god. Oh, dear Lord Longlegs. Okay. Engaging. Shit, I'm going to have to give engaging a 1. I mean, I was engaged the entire movie. Even at the most confusing, befuddling parts, I think it's that weird. I was engaged because of how disjointed certain aspects were. So I was like,
mystery.
I was hyper focused on it, and then I wasn't disengaged because by the end of it, even with the ending, it kind of again the entire ride I was engaged, just trying to figure it the fuck out. Sticky. Ooh, okay. Sticky's probably going to get a 0.5. I mean, the look of Cage in this, the desk scene, and to be totally honest with you, what's sticky about it is the open-ended questions about this. I have rewatching this, I have thought about this movie more. It's weird. I don't want to give it a full 1, but because of me running theories and shit in my head about this movie, because it doesn't explain a lot, I don't know if that's sticky or...
I know exactly what you mean. Yes, I'm going to run into the same thing.
I'm in this gray area of I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's it's almost like the negative stick, the negative ick. You know what I mean? Where it's I feel like this. Fuck it. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to give it a 0.75 because just even through this, I'm probably going to be thinking about this for the next fucking month and a half of just randomly but what if the dolls were some other things? T-shirtable, I would probably give a 0.25. Maybe on re-ratings, I may give it a 0.5. There is some really fun shit in here that you can make into a t-shirt. It's just would I want the t-shirt for Longlegs? And in most cases, it's going to be a no. You know what I mean? I think there is some cool shit you could definitely put on a fucking shirt. I mean, like
a lot of the posters are cool, and the alternate posters. There's a lot of
posters are cool. The alternate posters are cool. If you kind of really leaned heavily into the Zodiac aspect of this like Longlegs movie, so like I would love to have just like a decrypted message on the back of a shirt would be super cool. So I can't give it a big old goose egg because I feel like in the right scenario I could definitely hit it. Cockles, Cockles is a weird one. Cockles is muddied the same way as fucking Sticky for me, because like aesthetically, like visually, I fucking love this movie. Tonally, I like this movie. It's the unanswered questions and plot stuff that knocks the Cockles around. I'm gonna give Cockles a 0.75. I don't like but I also like batshit. You know what I mean? Where it's like that to me is it gets into batshit crazy. And like sometimes when it's so ludicrous, I can forgive the fact that it doesn't give me answers. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. Rewatchable. See, that's a fucking tough one because I originally had I had it as a 0.25, but fuck it. I think I'm just going to keep it at a 0.25 because I was going to do a 0.5 for it because there's so many open-ended questions about Longlegs that I feel if I watched it more, I would get something else out of it, but that would be trying to like get water out of a stone. Like it's not going to fucking happen. Like I think that like after 2 viewings of this, the extensively
it's still just going to
reading,
point to the devil.
It's still just good. Like, yeah. And like we were actually, it was funny. We were talking about this during the break is that like, I think that's one of the biggest gripes about dealing with like the heavy hitter Satan versus like lower level demons and stuff like that. Cause I feel sometimes the default answer is, well, the devil's going to do devil shit instead of like a full clear answer or explanation of stuff, which I feel is kind of a cop out. I don't know. So it's like after 2 viewings of this, I don't think I'm going to get anything else out of it. I'm not opposed to watching it. That goes right into Cockles. Like the vibe of this movie is fucking awesome. And if someone was like, dude, I want to watch Longlegs, I'm not going to be opposed to it. I just don't think I'm going to suggest it or kind of like be on the forerunner of viewings anytime soon. Unless it's going to be like the cherry on top of like a satanic Sunday of like, if I'm doing like a double header, like having just a bunch of devil top movies. No, as in like the end, as in like, you know what I mean? Like it's not the full thing. It's more of the garnish. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, okay, I could throw
maybe the starter.
Yes, the appetizer. There we go. Yeah. Better analogy.
I'm gonna throw it to myself next. I want to save Brian for last.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting indeed. So myself.
What? Sorry,
you had a 3.
What? 3. Okay. All right.
Does that sound right?
Yeah. I think that sounds good. It's better than average, but I think that it's yeah. All right, I'm cool with it.
Engaging. Gonna give it the 1. I think because of how well made it is aesthetically, just generally as a movie, the way it looks, a lot of things we've gotten into, I'm watching. Sticky, same thing as you, Ross. It's kind of tough to figure out. I'm gonna put a 0.5 there because after I first saw it, I really thought about it a lot to try and figure out if I liked it and answer these questions stuff. And I came away being like, no, I guess I don't like any of these answers I'm getting. So I haven't really thought about it much since I decided upon that until revisiting, and all it did was kind of reinforce that. Mm-hmm. And because of the popularity, whenever I hear about it, it kind of draws me back from it. So I'm like actively trying not to think about this movie. T-shirtable, I will also give a 0.25 to. Just because I don't want a long leg shirt, but there's cool posters, there's cool imagery. You could easily make a cool shirt. Mm-hmm. Cockles, I will do 0.75 because, yeah, it's near. You know what? The score's coming in a little lower than I thought it would, so I'll just kick it up to a 1. Because Cockles wise, like, yeah, if you compared it to it's one of those movies that you feel like you're crawling under a blanket. You're really getting in a world and feeling it. We've talked about the vibes. Mm-hmm. So strictly on vibes and not on my issues that I have. I took it out on Sticky for that. I'll give it a 1. And rewatchable is a 0.25 as well. Because I would watch it, maybe. I don't know. I'm really not interested in ever watching it again, but I'm not against it necessarily. But honestly, that gives me a 3 as well. And for me, a 3 feels too low. I like this movie more than that. So even though it's not a huge difference for now, I'll just, I guess, throw another 2.25 to T-Shirtable just to kick it up over a 3 to a 3.25.
Respectable.
And that only leaves one Shuttleman left. The one who I feel like probably dislikes this movie the most.
God damn, I didn't want to be the guy.
He's the cherry on top.
Here we go. Here's the cherry on top of this fucking Sunday. All right, engaging. Now, I'm having a tough time picking this one because the first time I watched this, I was very engaged with it. I love the vibe, and we'll talk about that in Cockles a little bit too and stuff. So the next time I watched this, I was not as engaged because I feel like
once you
know everything, got everything out of it already that first time. So that's why I said, like, the second time I was like, okay, maybe I'll play around with the letters and try to like decode stuff. And like that.
It's a shame too, because this seems like the type of movie that once you know on the rewatch, you see all these things or whatever, and it gets better, and it doesn't have any of that.
Like, I don't know if I was necessarily like seeing the devil figure so early in the movie, but I was definitely noticing it at all the points. So it's like going back and like finding those moments, like, doesn't really do much for me. I'm like, yeah, the devil's there. I get what
Devil's
you're doing.
everywhere.
Cool. Like, the devil who? So I'm gonna give it a 0.75 for this one, just to kind of like balance that from that first time being very engaged to the next time not so much. Sticky, I'm gonna give it a 0.5. I think the reason I continue to think about this movie is because this movie's brought up. I wouldn't. I've answered the questions in my head, and they haven't led me anywhere, as we've said. So I've since stopped thinking about it, but because it's brought up again, I'm like, okay, maybe I didn't see that right, but I'm like, no, I thought, whatever. T-Shirtable 0.25 as well, and I feel like I'm being generous. Even if someone gave me a Longlegs shirt, I'd probably like take it as a gift, but I don't know if I'd ever actually wear it. But I'm not going to give it a 0 because there is all you said, the cool posters, imagery, designs. There's a lot of cool shit for it. Cockles, I'm going to give it a 0.5 because it angers me a little bit. I don't feel warm and cozy watching it anymore. I did that first time. But now I don't.
It was a deceptive blanket.
Yeah, like, I don't like. There's worlds like this. There's other worlds like this that I'd much rather live in. That kind of give me that what the same kind of vibe is I feel out of this. And rewatchable 0.25. Like, I'd rewatch it again if someone really wanted to. I'm not opposed to it because, again, it looks beautiful. I can at least watch some pretty imagery. But okay, 2.25. That's fine. It's a really good movie, but I'm just so off put by the how the story doesn't pay off for me.
I think this is like a really great example of kind of our disclaimer before the ratings, that like it's our rating system versus objectively if it's a good, it doesn't matter if it's a good, objectively good or bad movie. And this one, it is a good movie. It's
well made, at least.
Well-made movie. Yeah, it's a well-made movie, but I think after you get once you get through
beyond like the craft.
Like the veneer of the.
That's why I think that's why I'm a little harsh and mad at it, because I'm like, this is such a well fucking made movie that it's almost hits so hard.
Right, exactly, because you want it. You're so close to being there, you want it to be there, and because it doesn't, it pushes you away. I get it.
Well, it's also, I think what's kind of a fun thing about this is that like I'm really excited to see what other films. What's the director's name?
Osgood Perkins.
Yes. What Perkins is going to do after this. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, man,
this is going to be a Stephen King adaptation. I don't know what, but I was listening to an interview.
the monkey.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Which I'm really excited for because I'm a huge Stephen King fan. But if this is the vibe, like I like this structure, this atmosphere, the vibe of this. Now it's just like if you fine tune it, like I feel like this is going to be the part where I'm like I'm really excited to see.
I have a story that works for me, and it would be way higher. So yeah. We just didn't have the robot ears for this one.
No, indeed not.
And that's okay.
But our Discord has some opinions. Well, I got those pulled up here if we want to.
Yeah, great. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Sergio posted a GIF of SpongeBob with some nice long legs. And then Tibu came in and he said he was going to give you a review, but then not because they were reviewing it on the nightclub. So go check out their coverage of Long Legs on the nightclub. And then I believe Scotty pops in at one point saying he has some thoughts. So go ahead and go over to Fun with Horror and listen to their thoughts on Long Legs. That's out.
All our podcast friends are covering Long Legs right now.
It's a Long Legs time of the year. But TV did come back with engaging. One, fully engaged because Nicolas Cage. Also, Micah Monroe with her odd stilted delivery. Okay. Well, he likes both Cage and her Monroe. Sticky 0.5, it became a TikTok sensation almost immediately and took the horror world by storm. But it's so new, it's hard to say. The most memorable thing from it will be Cage as the Long Legs, though, without a doubt. T-shirtable 1, plenty of imagery to work with here, and I'd love a shirt and some knee-high socks for my long legs. Cockles 1, I had middling expectations. I just wanted a creepy vibe and Nick Cage, and I got that. Then the movie took some amazing turns. Rewatchable 0.5. Sort of like Sticky, I'm just not sure what this film's staying power is going to be. I've seen it twice, and we'll see it a third time very soon. So this could go up or down. 4 to 5 feels right for me. I'm singing T-Rex at the midnight showing.
Nice.
So thank you, Tibu. And then I believe our other one was from Tiger Kate Snake.
Tiger Kate Snake.
Right? It's which names? Which names?
Oh. What do you think? Should we save it and announce it at the beginning of the next one?
We'll announce it at the beginning of the next one. Right. We brewed it up.
Have it.
We have it. It's there. Oh my God. Well,
we're just a bunch of Chuddlemen over here.
Stoners. I really love this movie, says Kate. My words, not anyone else.
Is that all she said?
It was the devil. Sorry, the devil made me do it. I really love this movie. Over there. I found it endlessly stressful on the first watch in a good way. And it was similar to when I first saw Hereditary in that I knew I loved it, but I also knew I had missed a lot and needed to watch it again. I also found out before rewatching just how much I had missed. I didn't see a single demon devil silhouette the first time. I'm not known for my powers of observation when it comes to movies.
I'll go ahead and say it now. I didn't notice any of the devil stuff.
There you go. So yeah, I mean.
Now, granted, I saw it one time in theaters, and I only really got in one full watch for this, and it was a note-taking watch. Mm-hmm. So, a lot of pausing and writing and coming back.
It's true.
Oh, yeah. I did feel that it was quite obvious that Angel Harker was under the influence of the ball devil situation. So it kind of frustrated me that so many people immediately assumed she was on the spectrum. I don't feel that was Perkins' intention at all as far as her character goes. I guess that's a thing people have talked about with her character.
I can see that. I've seen that due to her social awkwardness, just the way she
very
kind of carries
short
herself
with questions and answers and stuff like that.
She has certain little mouth movements.
Mm-hmm. I can't give this anything less than a 5. I love everything about it. The music is absolutely perfection, and I love that T-Rex is getting a lot of love. Nicolas Cage is unhinged and terrifying, and every performance is brilliant. Alicia Witt is an actor that I've enjoyed watching since Twin Peaks, and she was scarily good in this role.
She was good.
Yeah.
Evan, our witchy brethren, says, I'll throw it back on. I didn't hear shit last time I watched it, and that's where he left it.
Nice. Hopefully he hears it this time.
Yeah, right.
Hey, you know what it was? He put it on, and the devil was like, don't listen to this.
The devil's like, you can't hear it, you can't hear it, you can't hear it, you can't.
La 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 la.
It's like, this movie's really quiet. Like, I'm really distracted. So thanks a lot, club members. Jump into the Discord, leave reviews, fucking leave a review on our Instagram, anywhere, and we'll read it on the show for you.
Now, how does this? What's our club score, the Chuddle score, and how does it relate to other scores in the Goo Book?
I will let you know. It's a 2.8. So that sits it in the realm of. Well, that's not right. I don't have my score for The Shining. So well, I don't think I gave The Shining a 0. No One Will Save You. That's a 2.8. Dash Cam. So Longlegs and Dash Cam.
Our Dash Cam episode. I don't know.
Oh, has it? That's fun. Yeah. That's hilarious. Possession, Willy's Wonderland, a Sam favorite. So those all sit at 2.8. Right above it, we have one at 2.9. Cult of Chucky. With our buddies, the Horror Bandwagon, Cody and Sergio. And right below that, 2.7s, Caveat, Cocaine Bear, and Jeepers Creepers.
Nice.
And that was with T-Boo, Travis Maxwell Boone, the Witch Doctor. Doom was on that episode.
Yeah,
a lot of friends popping in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
2.8. That, I'm fine with that.
Yep, that works.
All right. Well, with that bit done, we're done.
We are.
So I would like to say, if you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. Rate and review us, tell your friends. If you haven't done any of that stuff, it does help us grow the show. You can follow Chuddle the Pod on Instagram, Slasher, Threads, Facebook. Really only active on Instagram and Threads, though. You can stay up to date with the show that way. Follow at Ross Purvis on Instagram if you want to see his tattoos and artwork. You can follow me, Chuddle the Sam, on Letterboxd. You can follow Brian, Chuddle the Brian with a Y on Letterboxd. Yeah. If you want to see what we're watching, see what we're doing, I'm making lists all the time because I do that for fun. Really, if you want to be part of the community, participate in the show, talk to us, jump in our Discord, that's where a lot of the fun happens. Just to make it. Also, a lot of our podcast friends are in there that we mentioned in the episode. So just to make it easy for you, all that stuff is in the show notes for the episode, so you can go on down, click, join, follow, whatever you want to do. So that has been us gentlemen talking about Longlegs 2024. Until next time, avoid the time loop.